how to heal anxiety applying emotional freedom technique. And this technique can heal anxiety if we are applying it appropriately, and we can accelerate that healing process by adding one very powerful aspect, which I'll take you through. This would be a complete, comprehensive guide for you, which you can immediately apply and overcome these anxiety phases and completely eliminate them by applying this technique. Emotional freedom technique. This is based on the ancient Chinese acupressure points, what they term as meridian points. We need to find out the points first where we need to tap. First one is this point. This is the location where we need to tap. This is the first point. But one thing, this point will be used only once. Although we will be going through 3 rounds of tapping, this point will be only for once. I'll tell you what exactly this point is for and how to tap this. What are the affirmation for that? Next point is at the location of our nose bridge and the eyebrows where they connect. That location needs to be tapped. Next is the opposite side. This will be the location. Moving on to the next one, it is below the eye. Let me tell you where exactly would be the location. Let me remove my glasses so that I can show you better. If you can see these muscle strings flowing down from your nose, and if you put the ring finger there, the next finger, the middle finger, will be below the eye. So this point needs to be tapped. Next point is below our nose. Next point is the chin, this location. After 5 locations in the face, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the 5 locations in the face. We go to the chest, just below the collarbone. This, and you are tapping at this location using both hands. In our face, we use one hand. On our hand, we use one hand. Whereas in the chest, you can use both your hands. Yeah? After that, it's about 4 inches below the armpit. And that location we need to find out ourselves. How do we find out? Somewhere about 3 to 4 inches below your armpit, if you press a location, you will find it is painful. If you press it a little hard, it is excruciating pain. That's the point where you need to tap. That's the 8th point. Now we go on to the 9th point on the top of our head, around the crown location. So these are the 9 different locations. These are points called the meridian points, where it is said that our emotional crystallization happens. Unless we remove those blockages by tapping, emotions will be there and they'll be troubling us. And it is very effective. When people do the tapping, they feel relieved from those emotional trauma. Now moving on, we can see here all these points, other than of course the hand, because we are not using the hand every time. These are the 8 different points which we have to use in all the 3 rounds. Use one hand, which is your predominant hand. So depending on which hand you are more fluid with, that hand you need to use for tapping. How to do it? I'll take you through the entire process, and I am going to give you a very, very important tip here. Many people, they do not use this, do not apply this, but this accelerates, it actually boosts the power of healing of EFT, emotional freedom technique. And I'm going to tell you that. What is it? This is a kind of meditation we do before we start applying EFT, and we feel that healing powers are coming to our fingertips. So what we do, we put our palms facing upward on our lap, closing our eyes. We'll first check our body, saying that the body is relaxed. I'm completely feeling a relaxed body now. Then I say, I check my mind and relaxing my mind. My mind is relaxed. Now I am breathing. As I am breathing, I am realizing this breathing process is with me forever. Right from the time I have come to this existence, till I exist, breathing is going on. And not just this breathing process. There are so many complex, extremely complicated processes going on in my body all the time. In fact, there are millions and millions of processes in trillions of cells of the body are happening. every moment, relentlessly, incessantly, continuously. And this is a miracle happening every time inside. This is possible since there is an incredible source of energy, an expansive, vast, conscious intelligence which is always there inside me to orchestrate, organize all these things every moment in my life. And this energy has all the healing powers. I urge this source of energy consciousness to give me the power of healing onto my fingertips, and I will heal myself. I express my deep gratitude for receiving these healing powers on my fingertips. Thank you, O Divine Source, for blessing me with all those healing powers. Thank you. When we are going for the EFT practice, we can do this. This can actually enhance, boost up the effect of EFT. And once we are done with this, then we start the process. And today we'll do it for anxiety. The first point is this point, this location. This point is for surfacing the problem. Anxiety is the problem. And I start feeling the healing energy on the tip of my fingers and then start tapping. As I'm tapping here, pay attention to the affirmation. I know anxiety comes to my mind and it gives a lot of difficulty and challenge as it stays in my mind, in my body. It is uncomfortable, painful. In spite of that, I completely and unconditionally accept myself. I know I have all the healing powers. This is the first round, first step, and it is done only once. That means we are invoking the problem. EFT is a practice when we are asking, we are facing the problem. We are not shying away from the problem. So anxiety is there, and in spite of anxiety, I completely, unconditionally accept and love myself. Now in the first round, I do that. Then I go on to the next step of first round with the same affirmation, and I'll start from the locations. What is the first one? This point. I'm using my right hand on the right side, using my ring finger touching the nose bridge here, and the next finger, the middle finger, is on the eyebrows. As I'm tapping, repeating the same affirmation. And the tap should be moderate. It should not be too hard, neither it should be too soft. But as you are tapping, you should feel that healing touch. Feeling the healing touch, it enhances the effectiveness of EFT. As I'm tapping this meridian point, I'm saying, I know anxiety comes to my mind sometimes. It stays, feels uncomfortable. In spite of that, I unconditionally, completely accept myself, love myself. Going to the next location on the other side of the eye, this point, touching with the ring finger, then the middle finger, tapping that. I know anxiety comes to my mind. It hurts, uncomfortable, my body and mind. I experience trouble and a lot of difficulty. In spite of that, as I'm aware of it, I completely and unconditionally accept myself, love myself. Going to the next location, below the eyes, this location, we are tapping. I know sometimes anxiety comes and stays in my mind. It is difficult and challenging that time, but in spite of that, I completely, unconditionally accept myself. I love myself. Going to the next location, below the nose, upper lip location, tapping that. I know sometimes I experience anxiety in my mind and body. It's challenging, difficult, but still, I remain completely aware of the phase of anxiety. I observe that anxiety and I completely, unconditionally accept myself. Going to the next location, chin, tapping that. Feel that touch as if it's a loving, kind, healing touch, having this affirmation. I know anxiety comes, stays in my mind for some time. I feel very uncomfortable in my mind and body. When it comes, I observe and I completely and unconditionally accept myself, love myself. Feel that touch as you're tapping. Next, we are going to the chest. Using both our hands, we are tapping this location below the collarbone. I know many times anxiety comes and stays in my body and mind. There's a lot of discomfort. In spite of that, I completely, unconditionally accept myself, loving myself. Moving on to the next location, below your armpit, and there tapping the location where it pains. Using these two fingers, you can tap that location, and as we tap it, I say, I know sometimes I experience anxiety in my mind. It's uncomfortable in my body mind. In spite of that, I completely, unconditionally love myself, accept myself. Now moving on to the top location with the same affirmation, we tap. I experience anxiety sometimes in my mind and body, but still I unconditionally accept myself, love myself. This is round 1 complete. Now as we go on to round 2, we tap the same points except for the hand. Hand is only tapped in the first round for surfacing the trouble, the problem. Now we go on to the second round. And as we are doing our affirmation, that change. I know anxiety sometimes comes. Now I can sense and feel with these healing touch, anxiety is getting weaker and weaker. I can clearly sense and feel that the source of it is weakening. Going to the next location, tapping the other side of the eye, again with the same affirmation. I can clearly sense now the very source of anxiety inside weakening. I can feel with every healing touch, anxiety is losing its power. I can observe that, witness that. Going to the next location, I can clearly feel the touch is weakening and reducing the power of anxiety. I can feel that, clearly sense that. I am feeling so joyful as I clearly observe the source of anxiety is losing its power with these healing touch. Going on to the next location, I can clearly feel and sense with every touch at this location, at the meridian point, anxiety, the source of it, is getting weaker and weaker, losing its strength, and I can see and observe that, feel that inside. Going on to the next location, on the chin, I can clearly feel and sense the anxiety, the source of it, is weakening and losing its power. I can feel the healing happening. Going on to the next, onto the chest, using both our hands, feeling the touch of healing out there. I can clearly sense and feel, observe, witness the weakening of the source of anxiety. I'm feeling so joyful as I witness that, as this healing is happening at this meridian location. Moving on to the next location, below the armpit, touching that point, I can clearly sense and feel anxiety is slowly but certainly weakening. The source of it is now getting weaker and weaker. Moving on to the next one, tapping that location. I am feeling so joyful and thankful to these healing taps as I see and witness and observe the source of anxiety is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So second round was focusing on healing process has been initiated. That's what. The third round, again the same locations with a different affirmation. Let's go in, let's do it together. Tapping starts from this point. I can clearly sense now anxiety is seeking permission from me to leave and go away forever. And as I clearly see, I'm giving permission to anxiety to go away. I am sensing a freedom inside me as anxiety is going away, completely leaving my body and mind. Moving on to the next. I can clearly sense that freedom from anxiety, as anxiety is going away, as if I'm bidding farewell to it. It is moving farther and farther from me. Anxiety going away with every healing touch below the eye. I can clearly feel and sense this healing touch, and anxiety is going away. It's going far from me. I am sensing that freedom from anxiety with every healing tap on the meridian point. Moving on to the next, upper lip. I can clearly see anxiety is going away. I am having a sense of freedom from anxiety. I feel this healing touch, enjoying as anxiety is going away from me. Tapping on the chin. Wow, I can clearly sense that freedom inside. As anxiety, the very source of it, is leaving my body. It has gone away. I'm feeling so joyful. Moving to the chest with both the hands. Tapping those points. I'm saying, wow, I really sense and feel a freedom from anxiety with every touch. Now I clearly realize I am getting complete freedom from anxiety. Going on to the next point below the armpit. As I say, I am clearly sensing a freedom from anxiety. I am feeling joyful. Every healing touch is letting me realize I am free and joyful. Anxiety has vanished from me. Onto the top. I'm expressing my deep gratitude to these healing touches. Wow, as I feel that freedom, anxiety has gone away. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We feel a sense of freedom as we go through the entire process, following these 3 rounds and feeling that we are getting healed through this process. If you liked, do leave a comment in the comment box and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you and God bless.